happen anymore. Do you understand? The CDC just released... Oh my gosh. Oh.
Excuse me.
Welcome back to our channel. In today's video, we're diving into a series of jaw-dropping moments where karma hits back and this Karen learns the hard way. Watch as instant justice unfolds in the most unexpected ways. But today, to kick off the video, we have an absolutely wild story to explore. This is one of those situations that seems too absurd to be true, but thanks to modern technology, we have footage that makes it all too real. The video, shot on January 11, 2021, begins with what appears to be a normal day at a Florida grocery store. Shoppers are shopping, pushing carts, and picking items, but then the silence is broken by an unmistakable commotion. The first major character to emerge in this unfolding drama, this woman, later dubbed Mama Karen by onlookers, immediately stands out. Not only is she not wearing a mask, an essential health precaution at the time, but her aggressive demeanor is also very apparent. It doesn't take long to realize that she's about to make her presence known in the most dramatic way possible. Amidst the chaos, we spot a masked man who seems to be trying to defuse the situation. He slowly backs away, trying to keep his distance from the escalating conflict. His patience and calm demeanor are evident as he tries to avoid conflict. But Mama Karen has other plans. Using a shopping cart as a weapon, she lunges at the man at incredible speed. It's clear that she's not just angry, she's on a mission to cause trouble. Her erratic movements and lack of awareness of her surroundings make it seem like she's acting on impulse rather than rational thought.
Hey! What are you hitting a woman, man? What are you fucking? She breathed out. Hey! Really? No, he hit her. This guy hit a woman. Stop! Hey, you motherfucker!
As if one Karen wasn't enough, Mama Karen's call to action seems to have summoned an army. The footage shows a group of people, presumably friends or family of Mama Karen, joining in the chaos. It's a chaotic scene as this so-called Karen army causes chaos in the store, adding to the tense atmosphere. In the midst of this, the store security guard is seen trying to make sense of the situation. His response was ineffective, whether he was waiting for reinforcements or simply unsure of how to handle the situation. His apparent inaction seemed to embolden the Karen family.
This guy hit a woman. Karen hit a woman. Kick your heel ass out of here. Call the cops. You just hit a woman. This guy hit a woman. You hit a woman. You hit a woman, bro. How's he attacking you? You hit her. You hit her. You hit her. We have it on video. We hit her. Where's the cop?
Meanwhile, the masked man was doing everything he could to avoid conflict. His demeanor was clearly not hostile. He wasn't looking for trouble. He was simply trying to get out of the chaotic situation that was happening to him. His restraint in the face of such aggression highlighted the stark contrast between his behavior and that of the Karen army.
Oh! Okay, what she's filming her, right? Oh, the coughing. Oh, he's a big one. That's you.
As the scuffle dragged on, Mama Karen reached her breaking point. As the attention of customers and store employees waned, she resorted to one final act of defiance, a loud, shrill protest that seemed more about attracting attention than expressing frustration. It was a moment that captured the essence of the Karen phenomenon, a dramatic outburst of out-of-control rage. According to Chapter 784.03 of the Florida statutes, assault is defined as conduct that intentionally causes fear of imminent attack or creates a feeling of immediate threat. There does not have to be actual physical attack or injury. It is sufficient that the victim feels immediate fear. To be considered an assault, the conduct must be done with the intent to cause fear. This may include the use of threatening language or other actions that make the victim feel threatened. Karen's use of the cart to harm the man, along with her yelling to attract attack to the victim, fall within the scope of this law. Assault can be prosecuted as a misdemeanor or the second-degree misdemeanor, depending on other factors such as criminal history, the victim's condition, and aggravating factors. The sentence may vary. If convicted, the penalty may include a short jail sentence, a fine, or probation. The maximum jail sentence can be up to 60 days, and the fine can be up to $500. Okay, this case is crazy, but it's not the worst. Just wait until you see Karen harassing the police and getting her comeuppance. The video was recorded on April 20th, 2021 at a busy Nordstrom rack store in Florida. The camera pans through various departments before focusing on one woman, our central character who appears to be in a heated discussion with a police officer. The incident began when a woman, later identified as Karen, found herself at odds with store employees at Nordstrom Rack when asked to wear a mask. The initial conflict revolved around a request for identification, which Karen refused to provide, leading to a tense confrontation. Karen argued that she had a fundamental right to enter the store without showing identification, a stance that quickly attracted the attention of store security and eventually the police. As the situation escalated, employees called the police for assistance. The store employees reported that Karen became increasingly agitated, refused to identify herself, and allegedly pushed an employee during the encounter.
I had to have an ID to be here.
No, you need to give
Didn't
us.
you say?
I didn't.
This
Is the call taker able to get a
we both know.
last name?
It's my God-given right on this planet, and you cannot tell me otherwise, correct? You just lied.
I lied to you about what?
You said I had to have an ID here.
No, you got
That's not what I said.
Oh.
When you're legally detained, you play back on your video. When you're legally detained, you have a duty to identify yourself to a police officer.
Okay, so they're saying that I'm...
Karen, on the other hand, claimed that she was being unfairly targeted and accused the employee of lying about her actions. And her refusal to cooperate only made the situation worse, and her confrontational behavior was captured on video by bystanders.
legally detained, which I was not, that I have the...
Can you try to run her without a date of birth? White female, approximately 40 foot radius.
In the video, Karen can be heard insisting that she had a right to be there and arguing that the request for identification was unwarranted. He even suggested that the situation may have been racially motivated, although this claim was not a major issue for the responding officers.
After I
Because, okay, so they're
And I
saying
called
that,
you too.
okay, so
I
let's,
called the police too.
are
but
you
they're
going to let
only
me talk, or are you going to be the only one
employee of
talking?
Nordstrom Rack.
As a call taker, I know you want to have them on their safety purposes.
Yes.
But right now, you and I need to be talking.
Says who?
You need to be having a conversation with me. So, she's saying you shoved her and she has witnesses.
No. Okay.
There are other
Well,
employees that were
I
in
would-
the fitting
I
room.
would hope. Okay, other employees. Well, there's also another woman without a mask. Isn't that interesting? How she only
Okay.
picked me?
Well, I have nothing to
She
do
only
with that at
picked
all.
me, the white person, not the black person wearing a mask. Do you think it's a racist thing? I don't know.
We're not
It-
here to talk about race.
Well, you know what?
At
It
all.
kind of seems like it's a racist thing. The black woman doesn't have a mask on, but she comes after the white one.
When the police arrived, they were faced with the challenging task of de-escalating the confrontation and determining the appropriate course of action. Officers are trained to handle situations where individuals refuse to cooperate, and in this case, Karen's refusal to provide identification became a significant issue. The officers informed Karen that she was being detained for further questioning and that in such situations, providing identification was mandatory. Karen's refusal to comply led to further complications, and the officers had to explain the legal requirements regarding identification during detention.
That's the only
Okay, so
difference.
that's
We're
when
both
you would
men.
file a complaint with Nordstrom Rack.
Okay, but I also want to file a complaint with you for her.
Okay, and she also wants to file assault charges
Okay,
against you.
okay. You have a middle name?
Yeah, my name is Gene.
Really think that's a negative.
Yeah,
First
no,
name?
because we have to identify you. If I can't identify you, I'm taking you to jail.
This is
Okay.
getting weird. Now they're saying if they can't identify me, they're taking me to jail. How do you identify the homeless?
That's
They
negative.
tell us their names, the date of birth. We're not on either side. We don't know what's
You
going
are.
on
You
because
are
we can't
taking
identify
sides.
you.
You are taking sides. Robert Gene Eller, you are taking
you
sides.
do.
Robert Gene Eller, you are taking sides.
I'm not taking
And it's
sides.
really sad.
Listen, so we can't even get any information from you.
Despite the officers' attempts to clarify the situation, Karen continued to argue, claiming that the rules were unfair and that her rights were being violated. This extended the interaction and ultimately led to her arrest for obstruction of justice and failure to comply with orders.
Where's the investigator?
If you
are you
were-
an investigator?
Ma'am,
We are officers who
Cara-
have to figure out what's
Carabelle.
going on.
Carabelle.
So-
How did you know my name was Carabelle?
because I heard you say it.
Don't lie.
No.
You are lying to me. I just talked to you and get my name.
Fitting room.
You
I
are
heard.
lying. Stop. This
Okay.
is the second time I caught you in a lie.
Okay.
By not following the law. First of all, I don't have to identify
Yes,
myself.
you do.
Actually, I don't. It's called criminal law. You should read up on it. I do not. This is my right as much as it is yours. I am a Christian woman of God. We're not going to put your disgusting rules on me. The CDC just released...
Turn around.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
Okay.
Oh my gosh.
The arrest attracted significant attention, with news outlets covering the story and social media users debating the events. Public opinion was divided, with some defending Karen's right to refuse identification and others supporting the police's actions in enforcing the law. According to Florida Penal Code Section 843.02, the crime of resisting officer without violence is described as resisting officer without violence. This crime involves obstructing or resisting a police officer or law enforcement officer in the performance of his or her official duties without the use of violence. The resisting conduct may include refusing to cooperate, failing to comply with police instructions, or engaging in other actions that disrupt police work without causing physical harm to the law enforcement officer. B. Karen's continued yelling and demands interfere with the officer's ability to resolve the matter. Though if an individual refuses to produce identification when requested by a police officer during a search or seizure and this conduct is not accompanied by violence, that person may be prosecuted under Section 843.02. The court may impose a fine as provided by law. The exact fine is usually at the discretion of the court and can be up to $1,000, and the prison sentence can be up to 1 year. The elevator is the common property of a building and can be used by any resident, but it seems that does not apply to this Karen, as she has taken over the elevator and will not let this man in. On 22nd February 2022, an incident occurred in a typical British apartment building where a delivery man arrived to make a delivery. Little did he know that he was about to face a frustrating, intense confrontation with a resident commonly referred to as Karen. The delivery man, who was just trying to get his job done, entered the elevator carrying a pile of parcels. The elevator doors closed and he began pressing the button for the ground floor. Little did he know someone else had other plans. As the elevator began to descend, a woman, clearly agitated, was already standing in the elevator. This was the Karen of our story. Her attitude was confrontational from the start. She began blocking the buttons, preventing the delivery man from selecting the desired floor.
Let's go check Morton's. Cool. In fact, let me try and ring Morton's again now.
They're closed, by the way.
There's an
But
emergency number.
yeah. Do you live alone?
No.
Let me ask you something.
I do live alone, and when you go in my flat, get away from my flat. How dare you do that?
Excuse me, lady. I need to go. Excuse me. I don't want to push you.
You push me.
I don't want to push you.
Karen immediately began her aggressive behavior by placing herself between the delivery person and the elevator controls. She placed her hands on the buttons, clearly blocking any attempts by the employee to use them. Her body language was defensive and aggressive.
Please do. Please do.
You have reached the out-of-bounds Circle Mortons. Please hold to begin a call.
Excuse me.
You touch me. You touch me.
Can you
I
excuse
ring
me?
police now.
Please do it. Please do it.
Despite the employee's polite request to use the elevator buttons, Karen refused to move. Her behavior escalated quickly as she began shouting and creating a scene. The worker remained calm, attempting to defuse the situation.
Can you excuse me? I need to use the lift. Excuse me.
With the workers' efforts proving futile, Karen decided to take things to the next level. She pulled out her phone and began emergency services, falsely claiming that she was being held captive in the elevator.
Could you please?
I need to get the police.
Please do it.
We are exiting hydro volumes, which has resulted in a delay.
The lift.
One of our agents will be with you shortly.
Lady,
Emergency police number.
it's 999. Do you want me to call?
Her accusations were exaggerated, portraying herself as the victim while conveniently ignoring her own aggressive actions. Over the phone, Karen described the situation as if she were a hostage. She tells the operator that the delivery person is preventing her from leaving the elevator. Her voice is filled with panic and distress, in stark contrast to the worker's calm demeanor.
Police emergency. There's a man here who is attacking me. He's recorded some of this. Who is a contractor here.
Where are you?
I'm at flat 15. Well, I'm not. I'm stuck in the lift at the Regency, 7 Hyde Place. The Regency, 7 Hyde Place.
SW1T Tango.
SW1P for Peter. He's pushed the door into my flat open.
Despite Karen's escalating behavior, the delivery person remains calm. He avoids direct confrontation, instead focusing on keeping the situation as calm as possible. His goal is to defuse the situation while waiting for the authorities to arrive. The footage then cuts to Karen closing the elevator, and the elderly person has to wait for the next one.
Hello, how you doing?
This guy just attacked me in the lift.
I've got everything recorded. This lady to be out of
P4HD.
She's blocking the lift. there. So I've got everything recorded.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
There are contractors, they're refusing to put to cover the main carpet in the main door. And since then, he's pushed into my flat. I've got a photograph of it.
When you then had you, what did he do?
He pushed me, so my head went back and hit the wall.
And how did he get to your property? Explain that part to me.
He just pushed the door. I was in the lift and he said, "Is there anyone at home?" And I said, "No."
Finally, following the information provided by the young man, the police arrive at the scene, responding to Karen's emergency call. They enter the building, locate the elevator, and prepare to handle the situation. At this point, Karen's accusations are becoming increasingly unbelievable. And under the Protection from Harassment Act 1997, this act deals with harassment, which includes repeated behavior that causes harm or distress to another person. Karen's behavior that harasses a delivery person, such as deliberately causing distress and distress in a lift, may be in breach of this act. If the harassment is considered a criminal offense under this act, the following penalties may apply if the harassment is serious. The court may sentence the defendant to a maximum of 5 years in prison. This is the penalty for harassment offenses involving behavior that is threatening or causing serious harm. Under the Public Order Act 1986, in addition to obstruction, this act also covers behavior that causes a public nuisance, such as aggression or disorder. If Karen's behavior causes a disturbance or distress in a lift, this may be dealt with under the provisions of this act. Under Section 4, fear or provocation of violence. If Karen's behavior causes distress or provokes others by words or actions, it may be dealt with under Section 4. This includes behavior that threatens or creates a situation where there is a risk of violence. This offense is punishable by a fine or up to 6 months in prison. All right, fellas, what do you think? Share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more interesting and educational contents in the future. Thanks for your sub.